quiz time. Can you name the opposites of humility? There is not one, best I can count, and that ain't real good. There are 4 opposites of humility. The first opposite, of course, is pride. You are somebody who brags on yourself. You tell people what you've accomplished, what you've earned, the medals you've received. The opposite of humility, at least the obvious one, is pride, and it manifests itself in bragging. That's one way. A second way that we can demonstrate the very opposite of humility would be a cousin, the humble brag. You know, all I can bench is like 650 pounds. That's a humble brag. Little different than being boastful. It's being boastful in a sort of subtle kind of way. Oh, I just look terrible without makeup, but you really don't. That would be the humble brag, an opposite of humility. The third opposite would be lying. When you do not tell the truth, and I can't think of a fib where this does not apply. You say, wait a second, not telling the truth, what does that even have to do with humility? Well, ask the question, why do you lie? Lies are always self-serving. A lie is a way to get you out of hot water. A lie is a way to defend your reputation. So in other words, a lie, in essence, is a bit of a brag because I don't want people to think poorly of me, and that would be the opposite of humility. And yet, I think there's a more subtle form of the opposite of humility. This is number 4 if you're doing the math. And it would be, brace yourself for this, gossip. Not kidding. I think gossip is the absolute opposite of humility. Think about your motivation when you have something juicy and you want to tell it to somebody. What is going on inside of our wicked hearts? It ain't humility. When I know something about someone, what am I seeking to do by sharing that little bit of juicy news that's going to cause them to go, really? I think there's a couple of things that could be going on in our hearts, but they're all the opposite of humility. I want you to think less of him or her. Why? What do I have to gain in tearing down somebody with a gossip? What do I have to gain? You'll think better of me. You're going to think, I'm not like the person I just slandered. In other words, gossip is a way to really brag on self by saying, I am not like that person. That is why when it comes to sin, we got to do a little digging down to figure out what's really going on there. There's another way that I think gossip can be the absolute opposite of humility, as it subtly manifests itself in really being kind of boastful. When I know something about someone that nobody else does, why do I get giddy about wanting to share it? Because I know more than y'all do. That is why gossip, again, can be a form of pride. It is a form of bragging. It is a way to build up self, to help you think more highly of me than you ought, or more accurately, for you to think about me the way that I think about myself. Humility, it has many opposites. Let's focus on number 4, which really is related to number 3, whose cousin is number 2, who's got a distant relationship with number 1. In other words, gossip is a really big, nasty sin. Let's take a look at a commandment to try to figure out what it is when we are gossiping, so that we can put it to death. Because when you and I go about the business of gossiping, we're going about the business of murdering, which is what gossip is, I want you to be lower than you are. I want people to esteem you as less. I want to tear you down. I want to say a negative thing about you. What did Jesus say about that? You call somebody a fool, you're in danger of the judgment. When we say something terrible about somebody, to somebody, it's murder in the heart. Gulp. That's how bad gossip is. So let's look at the 9th commandment to get a handle on this big, ugly sin. From the Westminster Confession, the duties required in the 9th commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness, are the preserving and promoting of truth between man and the good name of our neighbor, loving, desiring, and rejoicing in their good name, a ready receiving of a good report and unwillingness to admit of an evil report concerning them. That is a lot, and that is all captured in that little old bear witness commandment. Why were the Westminster divines so concerned about this particular sin? Well, first of all, because, it's a sin. And to bear false witness against somebody, to lie, it has such deep tentacles and roots. And at the very foundation of it is the same foundation that is the baseline for every single sin. It's the pride monster. Question for you. Are you ever tempted to share a little something about somebody? Maybe even do it in a subtle sort of way. I'll pray for everybody. Lord, please help Helen, because we all know that she can't make her monthly mortgage payment, and her husband Ron, who's been beating the children. Please help them this day. Amen. That's gossip packaged in a prayer, and frankly, it happens all the time.
Bailiff, please have the witness put the right hand on the Bible and administer the oath.
Oh, the Bible, which actually says our yea should be yea and our nay should be nay.
Does the defense have any more witnesses?
Yeah, 2 of them in Revelation 11.